Every evening, as the city lights flickered to life, a faint melody drifted through the narrow streets. It came from an old man sitting by the corner cafe, a worn-out hat on the ground, a wooden violin resting on his trembling knees. His name was Mr. Lyle. He played the same melody every night, never taking requests, never speaking to anyone. To the locals, he was just another street musician lost in time. But there was something about the way he closed his eyes, the way his bow lingered over each note, that made even the most hurried strangers slow down for a moment before moving on. Some said he had once been a teacher. Others whispered he had lost everything. Maybe his family, maybe his mind. But no one really knew, and he never explained. All he did was play, always at the same corner, always at exactly 6:30, as if waiting for someone who never came. One cold autumn evening, a young woman named Claire stopped in front of him. She was holding a notebook, a coffee cup steaming in the chill. For weeks she had passed by him on her way home. But that night something about the melody felt different. It wasn't just sad, it was tender, fragile, as if each note carried a piece of memory. She stood there, listening, until the song faded into the hum of the street. Then she quietly dropped a few bills into his hat. The old man looked up, smiled faintly, and said, "Thank you for listening." His voice trembled, not from age, but from emotion, the kind that comes from years of silence. The next day, Claire came again. She didn't say much, only sat on the bench nearby with her coffee, writing in her notebook as he played. After a week, he began to nod at her before starting the song. A silent friendship grew, the kind built not by words, but by the comfort of presence. One evening, as the first snow began to fall, she asked softly, "Sir, may I ask what this song is called?" The old man stopped, the bow hovering above the strings. "It's a call for Elise." He paused, smiled gently. "Not Beethoven's. Mine." She laughed lightly. "Did you compose it?" He looked at the horizon, the city lights blurring in his eyes. "A long time ago," he said, "for someone who loved music more than life itself." Then, without another word, he began to play again. But this time, Claire noticed something. The trembling of his hands wasn't from the cold. It was from emotion. Like the notes were pieces of his soul he was trying to set free. Days turned into weeks. People began to notice Claire always sitting by the old musician, smiling quietly as he played. Some even started filming him, uploading short clips online. The videos spread quickly. The old street violinist of Maple Lane, they called him. But Mr. Lyle didn't care about fame. He still came every evening, still played the same song, still waited for something unseen. Then, one rainy evening, he wasn't there. Claire stood in the drizzle, violin echoes replaced by silence. She waited for an hour, but he never came. The next day, she found a folded note on the bench where he usually sat. Her name was written in delicate handwriting. Inside was a key and a short message. "If you ever wish to know the rest of the song, come to 21 Rosewood Street and bring your heart with you." Confused but curious, Claire followed the address. It led her to a small, ivy-covered house on the edge of the city. Inside, the air smelled faintly of dust and old wood. The key fit perfectly into the door. On a table by the window sat the same violin, his violin, and beside it, a sealed envelope. She opened it slowly, her hands shaking. "Dear Claire," it began, "by the time you read this, I may have joined the one I promised to meet. My name is Lyle Anderson. Many years ago, I was a composer. Perhaps you've heard the piece The Winter Promise. It was mine. I stopped composing after my wife, Elise, passed away. She loved my music. But her last wish wasn't for me to write another song. It was to play our song in the open air every evening until the world forgot her name, but remembered her melody. I have done that for 32 years, and now that you've listened, I can finally rest knowing her song still lives in someone else's heart. Claire felt her chest tighten. The room seemed to hum with silence. She lifted the violin gently, the wood still warm with memory, and played the melody she had heard so many times before. But now she understood every pause, every trembling note. It wasn't sorrow, it was love, held too long. That night, the street corner was quiet again. But at exactly 6:30, Claire stood there, holding the same violin, playing for Elise. The same melody, but with new life. People stopped. Once more, listening to the sound of a love that never faded. Some recognized her from the videos. Others just stood still, feeling something they couldn't name. And though no one noticed, an old photograph rested against the lamppost. A picture of a young man holding a violin, and beside him, a woman with the brightest smile. The caption read, "Play it for me until the end." From that day on, the melody returned to the city, soft, alive, eternal. And those who passed by the corner never forgot the story of the man who kept his promise, and the woman who carried it forward. Because sometimes, love isn't about staying. It's about being remembered through the music that never stops playing.